Welcome back. We now move from outdoor cricket to indoor. The weekday and weekend leagues are taking shape, with some teams putting in dominant performances and in pole position to take the title.
The first game was played between Bloomberg and Blackaders. Blackaders batted first, making 70 for 8. The second pairing of Paul Williams and Mridul Kalata getting 37 of those runs, with Kalata going on to top score with 19. Bloomberg replied with 114 for 6. The second pairing of Justin Hess and Chintaka Pereira scored freely against Blackaders bowlers, with the partnership worth 33 runs. Srivatsan Sudarshan was Bloomberg's top scorer with 21 as they won by 44 runs. The other match was between Organised Chaos and Comworks, a one-sided affair that saw Organised Chaos pile on the runs in their innings. They made a whopping 145 for 6. Dharmit Kumar and Pavan Patel put on a 65-run stand. Kumar also top scoring with 39. Comworks could only manage 34 for 11 in their reply. Despite a fight back from Nimesh Desai, who scored 14 of Marina's 34 runs, they lost too many wickets. That cost them plenty of runs, and they fell way short of the daunting total in the end. Organised Chaos winning this one easily by 111 runs. So the win sees Organised Chaos top the table with 9 points. Powerplay Octopus and Comworks are tied in second with 6, but the former two do have a game in hand. Bloomberg's victory over Blackaders sees them climb up to 5th with 3 points. Blackaders drop to 8th and have yet to get on the scoreboard. Over to the weekend league at Sports Planet in East Coast. City Gladiators took on the NetApp Raiders. NetApp Raiders batted first and could only manage 25 runs in their innings, also losing 20 wickets in the process. Manoj Gopalakrishna and Akash Arani had the best partnership worth 11 runs, while Niman Bhutia was their best bat, scoring 9 runs. City Gladiators made 78 for 13 in their reply, losing more wickets than they hoped to. But the 30-run partnership between Srikant Bhatt and Nagaraja Shanoy proved more than sufficient to take City Gladiators to a 55-run win. City NRI took on Wanderers in the other game. This was a closely fought match, with City NRI making 102 for 10. Kartik Chandrasekaran and Vivek Kabia put on a team-best 33-run stand. Kartik going on to top score with 22. Wanderers came close, putting on 85 for 12 in their innings. Ayush Junjunwala and Anuj Goyal playing well together to put on a 33-run stand. Anuj also getting the most runs with 22. In the end, Wanderers fell 17 runs short of the set target. So here's a look at the weekend standings. Phillips are leading Group A with a perfect 15 points off 5 games, 6 points clear of Old Monks, who do have a game in hand. City NRI's win sees them tied at 3rd with 6 points, with Wanderers completing the top 5. In Group B, 8 Idiots lead the pack with 12 points. Centurions are 3 points behind in 2nd. City Gladiators have a chance to tie in 2nd if they win their game in hand.
It's that time of the show where we get tips from our resident coach, Arjun Menon. Take it away, Arjun.
In today's segment, we're going to look at bowling, and most important aspect of bowling, we're just going to look at general medium-pace bowling, is the grip, as well, to hold the ball when you're actually doing medium-pace bowling. Once again, I got my faithful accomplice, Chirat here, is going to show us what to do. So as you see, I've put the ball into his hands, and what's most important is he's actually got both his fingers running on the seam of the ball and not away from the seam, or not too close on the seam. They're quite evenly spaced, as you can see. He's got his thumb actually based on the seam underneath and not off to the sides. That's very important. 2 other fingers don't do as much, but what they have to do is get tucked in and maybe onto the side. You don't want it hanging out. Okay, but it's very important to have this, because if you have this, it's very easy to get the ball out straight on release, which is very, very good for medium pace bowlers to keep the seam nice and straight. We're going to look at the grip, I think, which is a very important aspect of batting. For most beginners, it's quite important to know some of the 3 the coaching points associated with holding the bat. So I'm going to use Chirat here to show you what the grip's all about. The first important thing about holding the bat is to get your V's up. So if you get 2 hands out like a V, Chirat, just put your 2 hands out like a V. If he holds his hands up, you can actually see 2 V's there. If he folds these fingers in, sorry, keep these 2 out, fold these fingers in. Right? You see letter V, the other one, letter V. Get your 2 V's, put them on the bat. And it's very important that when you do this, both the V's are lined down to middle of the splice. So you just want to hold the bat up. Okay, that's very important. Now, it's also important to know that you shouldn't have too much of a gap in between, because if you have too much of a gap in between, you won't have as much control over the bat. Both hands tend to work against each other. So it's quite important also to get your hands together on the bat. Where you hold it, being it too low or being too high, really is a personal preference. If you look around the world, there are a lot of batsmen who actually hold it too high or hold it too low. So it doesn't really matter what you feel comfortable with. So it's quite important to make sure that you look at individuality.
Coming up, we have an exclusive interview with an Australian player. We'll tell you who after the break.